Okay, this is Jared. I'm just taking some video here of the underside of the car to give you a better idea of what we've got going on here. So this is the red SPG. It's kind of crammed into my garage here, but we're going to start on the driver's side front fender well. I'll do this in a couple different video clips and do my best to kind of give you an idea what we're looking at. So someone had applied some anti-rust or anti-corrosion stuff on there. It's kind of come off, but I actually think it's done quite a bit of good to keep the inner fender wells in pretty good shape. You can see there's a little bit of rust up there. I think that's just superficial. It's not really a part of where the suspension mounts. And you can see there's been some rust repair and maybe some repainting. It's kind of been bubbled up there around the half shaft a little bit. New CV joint. Kind of just a lot of rust preventative stuff. You know, surface rust on the A-arms and the spindles and stuff like that. But I don't think anything there is too critical. But it's, you know, when you go and try and unbolt something, it's rusty and it takes some penetrating fluid, and it kind of just is what it is. So I'm gonna go underneath the floor pan here. Try and give you an idea. So the floors have been replaced. There's kind of some junk happening there. I think that's right along the seam where the floor pan was replaced, and then along the sill there's some rust. But as far as, you know, this will kind of give you an idea. That's the subframe, and this is where the suspension mounts and everything. I'll try and get some light up there. That's all in pretty solid shape. There's not much that stands out there in terms of like structural rust, which is kind of the important thing in my mind, at least. You know, knowing that the car does have some rust issues. So, and I'm trying to be as forward about that as I can be. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the passenger side, and so I'll show you what we've got going on over there. Actually, I'll try and get a good look at the sills. So, kind of give you an idea underneath the door what's going on. The doors are in good shape. I think they've been repaired, actually. So I'll move over to the passenger side. Okay, here we are on the passenger side. Same car. Red SPG. So same thing, you can see that rust preventative stuff has been applied. Probably the biggest thing on this side is going to be that bit of rust right there, and that is ugly. That's probably the biggest concern of all the rust on the car. I do know that they make patch panels that you can get to patch in there, and that was my intention to do that. And it's kind of just on that one portion there. It does get into suspension mounting point a little bit there. From what I can tell, that's still solid, but it's going to need to be repaired, I think, at some point. So just a heads up on that. But really, other than that, everything, you know, lots of surface rust on ball joints and that kind of thing, and shafts and all that kind of thing. But, you know, for the most part, not too bad, except for that guy. So just a fair warning on that. I'll try and get under the sill plate here. So same thing, there's some crud there. This is actually, you know, this is that rust preventative stuff that someone had done there. This is the original panel underneath, and it's still, I think, pretty solid. Got a little bit of rust here near the pinch weld. Try and get a little light up here. You know, the frame rails, again, are really in solid shape. Kind of give you an idea. Floor pans on this side are in better shape than on the driver's side. There's a little bit of a hole. I don't know if you can see that real well from here. A little bit of a hole there where it looks like the new panel is starting to rust through a bit. So kind of, again, is what it is. Hopefully it kind of gives you a clear idea of what's going on. I'll try and sneak down here a little bit. So that's rusting through. Whoops. That's rusting through there. Kind of all the way back, actually. So that's probably a floor pan that needs to be addressed. So I don't know if this is a car that you'll ever get the rust entirely out of. You know, I think you can patch it and repair it, and I think it's a good driver as is. But if you're looking for a rust-free car, unfortunately, it's just not it. It's what I was hoping I was getting when I bought it, and I don't think the seller was real clear, and that's why I'm trying to be as forthright as I can be here. So, yeah. Okay, I'm on the driver's side rear of the car. So this is probably where the worst body rust is. You know, that's gonna have to be replaced. They do make repair panels for that, but that fender is gonna have to be replaced. It's rusted probably a couple inches up on the back there. So, you know, just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at size-wise, pretty much from, I'd say, over in this area, pretty much all the way down into here. So probably the worst of the body damage from the rust. The rear of the car actually looking pretty good here. Try and get some light up. Sorry, my neighbor just started his truck here. So that's the hole in the trunk that I was talking about. So it's punched through, you know, and I'll show you on the top end. You know, maybe, like I said, a quarter size, but if you start pulling at it and dinging, it's probably more like a baseball size, I would guess. You're seeing there with the bubbles and everything. You know, the rest of it, suspension mounting points and all that kind of stuff are really solid. Really good here. There's surface rust again, on the ball joints and on the axle and that kind of thing. I don't worry too much about that. So. Yeah, the top there where the strut mounts, a little bit of surface rust around there. That would probably be something I'd want to look at. You know, I think everything I've seen is that it's okay, but I would probably want to get that repaired as well if I were having it on the road a lot. So, move over to the other side. Okay, so here's the passenger rear side of the car. A little more rust on this side than the other side. You can see where that's kind of peeling back there. Probably the biggest concern would be that's the shock mounting tower. I think it's solid, but it needs to be, kind of the top layer is rusting off and it needs to be repaired. You can see a hole there that would go into the trunk. Actually, I see a rock that got caught up there. But as far as, sorry, I'm gonna move here. As far as the fender well, not too bad. Pretty good mounting point there. You know, down, it's hard to see there, but the suspension arm mounting is decent. Surface rust on all the components and the axle. Not nearly as bad here on the rust, but still there, and still needs to be replaced. That would be the fender, a little bit back there. So, Wisconsin car. Too bad someone didn't do a better job of taking care of it. I think it just needed to be washed more frequently, but there you go. Brakes are good. All right, I'm gonna shut this down and I'm gonna go ahead and get in the car and go for a quick drive and kind of show you some of the things inside the car, and hopefully that'll answer some questions.